Hey, what's up, guys? I just got home. I just flew in from Phoenix, and I was thinking about. I was looking at some stuff online, and I saw that Cardi B offered kind of an explanation for why she, said she used to, rob and drug men to take their money and or drug them, and so she could rob them, stuff like that. And I read the confession and or I read her explanation for the confession, and I had some thoughts on it. I wanted to kind of process this a little bit out loud. I know that this is controversial. This is stuff that people may or may not like to hear, from a guy like me. But as a professor, I'm a thinker, right? I analyze things. I break things down. And that's what I like to do. I like to break things down that happen in the black community because I think this is an important topic, especially because the gender has now switched, right? When we had a drugging conversation before, I find that there's a lot less forgiveness when it comes to the men because the men aren't usually drugging the women to get money. They're usually drugging the women to get sex. Whereas the women aren't drugging the men to get sex. They're usually drugging the men to get money. And this topic was sensitive to me because I've been a victim of being robbed by a woman, in a private, intimate situation. It was a woman I was dating, but she did steal my money, and I did not get justice. They laughed at me when I called the police. I did call the police. Unlike all the white women who accused Cosby, I called the cops. I did actually try to file a report, and and I remember just not getting very far with that, So, but maybe I don't know. Maybe I could have handled it differently. I have no idea. But at the same time, it was something that made me think a little bit. And so I was looking at Cardi B's explanation. She says, "So I'm seeing on social media that a live I did 3 years ago has popped back up. A live where I talked about things I had to do in my past, right or wrong, that I felt I needed to do to make a living. I never claimed to be perfect or come from a perfect world with a perfect past. I always speak my truth. I always own my shit." So I understand where she's going with it. She's going with, I'm an honest person. I keep it real. I ain't perfect, neither are you, so that's why you should forgive me. But again, a lot of people can say that. I think R. Kelly can make that argument. I'm not perfect. God forgives. Jesus loves all of us. Stuff like that. Anyway, I'm a part of a hip hop culture. You can talk about where you come from, talk about the wrong things you had to do to get where you are. So she says. Now she's mentioning the culture as kind of like facilitating this, which is partially true. Hip hop is a culture where you have a lot of stories about people that did a lot of things in the past. So I think the question is, where do you draw that line? Like, how do you decide who to chastise based on things they did to harm other people in the past, and who do you kind of let off the hook? Because remember, right now we're in the middle of, Oprah digging up Michael Jackson's dead body, because of what somebody said that he did, right? You have R. Kelly being muted over things that, some things that are proven, some things that are not proven. He did go to court, he did get prosecuted, and he was found not guilty. But there are people who feel like that doesn't matter. You deserve to be punished. I'm not in complete disagreement. I'm not a fan of R. Kelly. But anyway, let me keep reading. She says, there are rappers that glorify murder, violence, drugs, and robbing, crimes they felt they had to do to survive. I never glorified the things I brought up. So she's mentioning what other people are talking about. Again, I don't really know if the men who've been really kind of torn down, in the last few months, mostly the black ones, I don't think they were able to make an argument to say, look at all the other things happening around me. Look at the culture. Like if imagine Bill Cosby said, look, everybody was taking roofies. Hollywood is filled with people who are doing all kinds of devious shit when it comes to sex. There are people, Lee Daniels openly talked about how he went and had lots of unprotected sex, hoping that he would catch HIV, not knowing if he was actually transmitting diseases, right? He didn't think about that. He thought about trying to catch a disease, right? So there's a lot of people who've done a lot of things that they've talked about openly, that could be heavily criticized depending on which direction we decide to go as a society. She says, I never glorify the things I brought up, that I live. I never even put those things in my music because I'm not proud of it and I feel a responsibility not to glorify it. Okay, that's a good point. I made the choices that I did at the time because I had very limited options. Um, okay. I mean, if that's what we can let people off for when it comes to crimes, I think there's a lot of most people that commit horrible crimes against other people usually have some issue that they're dealing with, right? It could be poverty, it could be mental illness. You can't tell me R. Kelly ain't got a mental illness. If Michael Jackson did possibly do the things that he was accused of doing, you can't tell me Michael was a normal guy. Michael had a mental illness, right? So is that what we do? Is that what we say? Like, if you were either dealing with tough circumstances or you have a mental illness, then we're gonna act like it didn't, happen. I don't know. It's kind of it's a slippery slope, but then again, Cardi's just trying to cover her own situation. She says, I made the choices that I did because I had limited options. I was blessed to have been able to rise from that, but so many women have not. Whether or not they were poor choices at the time, I did what I had to do to survive. The men I spoke about in my live were men that I dated, that I was involved with, men that were conscious, willing, and aware. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Like, they were willing and aware that they were being robbed. They were okay with that. They put themselves in that situation, so they deserve to be victims of crime. Well, you got to be careful with that kind of language, right? Because people say that sometimes about rape victims, right? She was willing and aware. She chose to be in that room. She chose to lay down with that man. She chose to be in his apartment at 2:00 in the morning or whatever, right? And she don't have to explain any of that. So why would this man have to explain why he agreed to go and have sex with you? I have a past, and we can't, and I can't change that. We all do. Okay, so she says we all have a past. I think that I think the bottom line with the Cardi B thing is that, you have men consistently being taken down and destroyed for something usually has to do with sex, right? Now, women have a different sexual nature. Women are not people that have to go, they're not going out sort of, approaching men trying to get sex, right? They're not saying, hey, let me pay your bills so I can get some dick. Like, women don't have to do that. Women can get sex easily. Now, what a lot of women will do is they use the power of sex to get something else that they want, right? Not all women. A lot of women do that. So they'll make the opposite proposition to a man. Like, so a powerful, right now we have the Me Too movement where a powerful man will be taken down because he says to a woman, hey, if you sleep with me, I'll help get some bills paid, right? And we've decided that that's a bad thing, that's almost illegal, and he should even be destroyed because he's a predator. But what they don't talk about are women that say, hey, if you pay my bills, I'll have sex with you. If you give me access to money, I'll have sex with you. So that sex for money trade has been defined to be immoral and damn near illegal if it's going in one direction. But the sex for money trade is fine if it's going in the other direction, right? So if a woman is using sex, the power of sex, to either coerce a man, extort a man into paying her, right? It's okay. If she's using sex to convince a man to pay her, it's okay. If she's using the power of sex to rob a man while he's drugged up and unconscious, then apparently that's okay, right? So my point here, I hope you guys see what I'm saying, is that it's an issue that Cardi B is able to make a statement about the victimization of men, but it's not put on the same par as the victimization of women. In fact, in our society right now, there is pretty much no crime consistently committed by large numbers of women, or a substantial percentage of women, that would be demonized at the same level as a man who trades money for sex, or has sex with a girl that's 17 or 16 instead of 18, right? Or God forbid, harasses or sexually assaults a woman, right? There's 1,000 ways sex can bring down a man, but there's almost no way we've established where sex can bring down a woman. And so what I would beg to offer is this idea. If we're going to decide that it's just terrible for a man to use his money to coerce sex out of a woman, either by force or talking her into it or threatening her or just taking it, then it should be also seen to be equally problematic for a woman to use her sex to coerce money out of a man by either stealing from him, coercing him, trading with him, or whatever, right? Again, so do you follow what I'm saying? I hope that this makes sense. You know, it's all about money being traded for sex. But so we've decided that it's bad to offer your money and ask for sex, but it's okay to offer your sex and ask for money. Or maybe even force somebody to give you money or steal somebody's money, right? Either way, it's all kind of the same thing. It's the same damn equation, the exact same equation, right? Bill Cosby used his money and his power to lure women in so he could steal sex, right? If that's what you believe that he did, right? But then there's other lower levels of Bill Cosby. You know, there are men who use their power and their money to not so much steal the sex, but to kind of pressure the woman into getting the sex. Like, okay, if you give me this, if you don't give me the sex, I'm going to fire you. Or other men who use the power of their money to strongly urge a woman to make a trade, right? To say, hey, look, I got to offer you, probably could refuse, but if you refuse it, then you're not going to get the money, right? Here's the money. Give me some sex and I'll give you the money, or I'll give you the opportunities, or I'll put you in my movie or whatever, right? And it doesn't mean I'm going to beat you up or rape you or destroy you if you don't give me sex, but I'm not going to give you the reward. I'm going to save the reward for somebody who gives me what I want, right? I've seen many occasions where women will do the opposite of that. Women will say, here's the sex. I want you, because I'm giving you the sex, to give me what I want. Give me some money, give me a movie deal, give me an opportunity, right? And if you don't give it to me, that's okay. I'm not going to get mad at you, but I'm going to go give the sex to someone else who gives me what I want, right? And so basically, again, because America's a society that many would consider to be feminized. There is no war on women. The war on women is over, and women won that war. Women have won that war because in this feminized society, again, there is, when you look at all the different ways that men can get in trouble with that sex for money transaction, you can't name one situation where lots of women have gotten in trouble. I mean, powerful women by the dozens have been taken down for what they're choosing to do when it comes to getting the things that they want, right? There's nothing, there's no examples of that, nothing. The Me Too movement doesn't take down, it takes down heterosexual men. It does not take down gay men very often. Kevin Spacey's one, but he isn't even really being taken down. He's not in the press every day, right? It doesn't take down gay men, it doesn't take down women, especially white women. So that's what this Cardi B thing says. The other thing it makes me think about an article I wrote a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and it caused a whole big firestorm amongst these black male scholars who call themselves feminists, but honestly, they're just a bunch of guys who suck up to white people. So they pretty much do whatever white people tell them to do and think the way white people want them to think. So they're not independent thinkers. They're not very good scholars. But anyway, so these scholars got mad because I wrote an article where I warned black men. I said, look, predators don't come in one gender. Predators are not all men. You got some women out here that will pray the shit out of your ass. And I'm not talking about praying to Jesus. I'm talking about will make you the prey, will eat your ass up, who will go and make up a story and falsely accuse you of a rape and send your black ass to prison for the next 50 years and not give a damn about your future or your family or all your mama's tears. And I wrote that article, and I thought I was doing a good thing by basically warning men about sexual irresponsibility. I thought that people would appreciate that, but they didn't appreciate that. They got mad at me. They thought I was attacking women and saying that women are liars. And I said, no, I'm not saying women are liars. I'm saying that there are women who are liars. There are Cardi B's out here. So if anything, this Cardi B video to me, it proves my point. There's some lying ass women out here. There's some old scandalous ass dirty freaks who will tell you any goddamn thing you need to hear so they can rape your pockets, so they can ruin your life. They will go and tell the cops a story. They'll sit next to Gloria all red and he raped me and then he did this and then he did that. No proof, no nothing, because they know the game. They understand the game. Women are smart. Women are smart. They want you to think women are dumb and innocent and pure and sweet and will never tell a lie. And that's a damn lie. That is a lie. These women are very smart. Some of them are very crafty, and some of them, like a Cardi B, will use their sex to rape your pockets. No differently from the way Bill Cosby used his pockets to rape people for sex. It's the same transaction, just in different directions, because predators come in all genders. So I think that conversation about Cardi B is one that needs to be had. I don't want to see Cardi B get destroyed over this. I'm honestly in the position where I don't think Cardi should should lose everything over this confession. I think she might have to make some amends. There might be some penalties to pay. But I think honestly in our society, we just want to throw everybody in jail for every damn thing. I don't think Bill Cosby should be in jail. The man's 80-something years old. These crimes have no proof. He allegedly, this lady claims that he did whatever and touched her titty, but she got $3 million and she agreed not to press charges, so she has no right to do that. So no, Cosby should not be in jail. R. Kelly, he probably need a little jail time, man, some therapy. Michael Jackson, you can't put him in jail. He's dead. So I think that we need common sense in these discussions. We've lost that. We don't have common sense anymore. And we have people that get on these stupid soapboxes and say the dumbest things. And it's just the stupidest crap ever. But anyway, I'm going to go. So have a good night and hit the thumbs up button, please. Thumbs up, subscribe to drboystv.com. And again, my analysis is off the grid. I'm not trying to be mainstream. I'm not trying to think like everybody else, because honestly, the older and the wiser I get and the smarter I get by analyzing things and thinking things over, I think a lot, the more you feel like you just don't fit on this planet. So if you are a person who feels like you were born on the wrong planet, then maybe this is the place for you to be. So take care, everybody. Have a good night. I'll see you later. Be good. Peace.